So in this case, we are given a question to consider on our finance and growth. That is, Zach likes to travel. He saved 5,000 rand as spending money. This is the amount that is there, that is being saved as saving money for his vacation in Australia at the end of 2015. 7.1, you are given that Zach looks up the exchange rate on the internet using the following in the table below. Calculate how many Australian dollars Zach can buy for 5,000 rand. Using the information that we are given on the table. And what is the information showing us? Okay, let's take a closer look. We are given in this case the foreign currency. This is South African rates for the foreign currency, like the US dollar, the euro, the British pound. But considered what? South African rand rates to say the equivalent value of one when it is one rand. What is the equivalent? That is what they are saying, equivalent value of 1 rand here. It is equivalent to what? It is equivalent to this in the US dollars, this one in the euros, this one in the British pound, this one in the Australian dollar. That is what it means there. That is what it means. 1 rand as to what? So using this part, let's start with this so that we do not have confusion. The equivalent value of 1 rand. Like I said, as we need where? The Australian dollars. So 1 rand is equivalent to what in terms of the Australian dollars? So you're going to have this 1 rand is equal to Australian dollars now. This is part of your Australian dollars. We saw that this one. You take that to be equivalent to 1 rand. So this is 0, that's 0,105, that's 0.58, as we are given there. These are Australian, according to that. So you can ask yourself, if 1 rand is equal to this, what about the 5,000 rand, this one? Because that is one that we are being asked. The same currency on one side. So meaning to say you're going to have 5,000 rand this side. Must be equal to what here? We do not know the answer. So you can just call it X. Since we do not know, let it be equal to X. We can solve for X. So when you're given a condition like this, guys, you can solve it for X. Like I said, when dealing with proportion from our revisions, this one is in your hands. The way that you solve here, it's in your hands. You can take it like this. 500 over 1 is equal to this one over this. You can take it as 1 over 500 is, you solve the equation of cross, or you can just cross multiply as it is. You take it like this. The X multiplies this one multiplies this value. So it's going to be, just use the value there to say it's X times what? X times 1. Don't focus with the R that is there. Just multiply to say X times 1. So it's going to be X, which is equal to the 5,000 multiplies this value. You can do the cross multiplication concept. So it will be 5,000 times 0,105058. Knowing X is representing the part of what? The Australian dollars here. The answer is supposed to be the dollars. So you know that whatever that you're calculating is the dollar there. All right. So like I was saying, the solving there, it's in your hands. Some, they can take it this way. Like I was saying, you can choose to say 500 over 1 like this. 5,000 over 1 is equal to the same way that you took. You said 500 over this. You're supposed to take in the same way. So it's going to be X over this on this side. So on this side, take the same way, X over this. So it will be X over what? 0, 105,058. That's how you solve this. So you can just solve for x cross multiplying. Still, you end here. You can take it the way that you understand, guys. You can take it vice versa. You can take it as 1 over this. 1 over 5,000 times it's going to be this 1 over x0, is equal to, so you're going to have that over what? Over x. Then you can even cross multiply. So solving there, please use the way that you understand. At least you just have the basic of what it means from there. Then you solve in the way that you understand. So multiplying these two values, we're going to obtain, that was going to give us 525.29, which is to the dollars now, as we are converting to the Australian dollars. So therefore, we are simply having x, which is the, x is equal to $525.29, which is representing the Australian dollar. Okay, which is the equivalent of the Australian dollar, as we are given. So we worked with the equivalent value of what? 1 rand. Okay, let's use this part and see if we wanted to consider and see how interpretation of this, what does it mean? If we interpret from this side, what does it mean? The rand equivalent of 1 unit of currency. Take note. The rand equivalent of 1 unit of what? Of currency. 1 unit of currency. The currency now is the one that you are having, your foreign currency that you have here. 1 unit of currency, to say 1 US dollar, that is what it means. 1 US dollar is equal to 1 unit of that. 1 is equal to what? The rand equivalent. So it is equivalent to this. It is equivalent to 12.09, whatever that you have. If you move on to the euro, you do the same thing. You move on to the British pound, as we are focusing with what? The Australian dollar. So meaning to say, this time it means the 1 unit of currency. The 1 unit of currency, like I said, we are focusing with what? The Australia. The 1 unit of currency is what? The Australian dollar. So each dollar, each 1 unit, each unit is equal to the equivalent now of what? South Africa, this one. The rand equivalent is what? This is the equivalent. So it is equivalent to 9, whatever that you're given there in what? In rands now, this time. 9,518,569. The equivalent, that rand equivalent of 1 unit. There it was equivalent value of what? 1 rand. To say 1 rand is equal to what? Here it is that foreign currency, 1 unit of it is equal to what? So considering our Australian dollar, it is equivalent to this. So you ask yourself now, what about the what? What about the 5,000 rand that I'm having there? What is its equivalent here? We do not know. So you can call it what? We can call it x. So we saw the way that we're going to solve for x, guys. We're going to take this x over 1 is equal to this. We're going to do the cross multiplication. It's in your hands. So since we see that if we divide x over this, is going to give us what? A 1. So it's easier that we take that way. X over 1 is equal to, you can easily divide this. So it's going to be 5,000 over this one. 9,518569. So that is going to give us x. X representing the money, which is in what? The dollars, the Australian dollar. So whatever that you're going to get here is going to be the Australian dollar, which is to 2 decimal places. That was going to give you 525.29. You're dealing with the money. Your final answers round off to 2 decimal places. That's the idea there. If you wanted to do that part of cross multiplication, because I once talked about cross multiplication, someone might say, what if we do that cross, is it going to work? Yes. You multiply this to this one. Yes, this to this one. So it is going to be 9,518,569 times x. You multiply that. So it will be x is equal to 1 times this 5,000. So it's going to be 5,000. You want to find X, you're now back to equation. How do you solve this? You divide 9,518,569. Divide both sides. Just like that. So by dividing both sides, you're going to obtain the X, which is the same situation or same scenario with this one. So thus, we're going to have the same value of X. So how to solve a proportion? I leave that one in your hands. You choose the way that you understand, guys. All right. So that is it, guys. Let's see another part. On 7.2. On 7.2, they're saying Zach plans to make another trip to Australia at the end of 2018. At the end of 2018. When he's doing this here, it was Zach like to travel in a vacation at the end of what? 2015. That is, we're talking about the year 2015 here. Now we are talking about the year 2018. So they are saying 7.21. Assume that the average annual rate of inflation in South Africa will be 6.1%. Assume that the average annual rate of, the moment you hear this, the moment you hear inflation, the moment you have this inflation, you're supposed to know what are you working with in terms of your calculations. Whatever that you're going to do here, it is going to be calculated under what? Is it under simple interest or is it under a compound interest formula? So check your introduction, guys. When we talked about the compound interest formula, I said examples there, it can be used for population growth. It can also be used for inflation. So here we are talking of our compound interest formula to be used. Compound interest formula. You are supposed to think whatever that you are supposed to be measuring on that population growth, inflation, those long-term period consideration, they work under what? Compound interest formula. So the question was, what amount of money will be equivalent to the value of 5,000 now in 2018? In what? 2018. What is going to be the value? So what are they asking there? The accumulated amount. In inflation, how do you best work with inflation? Inflation is when the money is losing value. So we are simply saying, if the money is losing value, something that was supposed to be bought at 5, you are supposed to buy something at 5,000. In a period of 3 years or in a period of 5 years, you are no longer buying that same item at 5,000. Maybe the item is now sold at 7,000 or it is now at 6,000. The same, we're talking of same thing, same item, but the price has changed, has increased. That is what you call inflation. So there is an increase in amount of the same thing. Just like here, this guy, he wants to travel. He wants to have a trip. The same trip from South Africa to Australia. But because of the inflation, we have to know what will be the equivalent of that trip by that time. That is what we are simply saying. What is the equivalent of this amount over the period of 3 years? Like I said, this one, it operates under what? Compound interest. So under compound interest, we do understand amount is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent of N, where we need the principal, the money that you are starting with before the inflation. That is our principal. So we've got 5,000 rand. Then we talk of the interest rate, the percentage that you are given as a decimal. So divide by what? By 100 here. You're going to get the decimal, which is 0.061. The number of years we are given in this case, 3 years. So in this case, guys, everything was direct. There's no adjustment that we need there. We are just going to substitute as it is and obtain our amount. the principal, that is 5,000, into 1 plus the interest rate as we are given, that's 0.061, raised to the exponent of what? The number of years. The number of years. How many years? 3 years, as we are given. So make sure that you do use your calculator properly in the simplification and also rounding off you to 2 decimal places. Let me just show the calculator, especially on the rounding off of our answers. So this is it. We are going to have, that is 5,000. All right, so that's 5,000. Open a bracket. That's 1 plus 0.061. Close the bracket, then raise this one, x to the exponent of. So you raise to the exponent of a 3, or you could have used that one, x cubed there previously. But if you have not that, you just use this one to the exponent of. So you're going to get your answer, which is this one. So what are we going to do? We can round off this answer to 2 decimal places. We're talking of the money. So your final answer to 2 decimal places, which is going to be 0.95. Or your calculator can do that. Shift, mod, let's fix it. Number 6 there. So you're going to fix to 2 decimal places, then just press 2. So your answer is now rounded off to 2 decimal places. All right. So that is the idea there. So meaning to say, as a result, we can have our answer rounded to 2 decimal places, which was going to give us 5,971.95 rand to 2 decimal places. To 2 decimal places. So meaning to say, if we had to say it's in inflation, the same trip that was supposed to be at 5,000, if there is an inflation, it means the trip is going to be at what? 5,917.95 in 3 years' time. That is the condition of an inflation. Is the same thing. It's a computer that you're supposed to buy, same thing that you're having, but the price of that is accumulating, increasing each and every time for the same product. So inflation uses compound interest formula. 7.22, they are saying ZEC plans to invest, okay, equal amounts into savings account. Okay, this is another question here. So meaning to say, we can just remove this and see what are they trying to say here. All right, so please understand the small English that they are just going to write there. Please try by all means to understand it. Try by all means to understand it. So let's try to understand what are they saying here. ZEC plans to invest. Okay, an investment we do not know. We have to be told on that type of investment. Is it going to be under simple or under compound? So they will specify. But they are saying equal amounts. There is equal there, amounts, meaning to say he's not going to invest once. He's going to deposit and make another deposit or even make another one. Equal amounts into the savings account on 1 December 2016. 1 December, this is, we're talking of 2016. And on 1 December 2017, to have accumulated an amount, we have accumulated an amount of, it must be at this value by what? By 1 December 2018. By 1 December, the time there. It's very, very important, the number of years. All right. If this account earns interest at 9% per annum compounded, we know that we deal with what? We are still on compound interest formula, which is fine. All right, we are still on compound interest formula to be used there. So they are saying if this account earns interest 9% per annum, compounded annually, compounded yearly, how much should ZEC deposit the money that is invested here? Equal amounts. He wants to invest. This is the money deposited into the account on each occasion. Which occasions are we talking about? That occasion of what? This one of 1 December 2016. He deposited something. On 1 December 2017, he also deposited something. But he is depositing or he is investing equal amounts. Meaning to say, whatever that he deposited on 1 December 2016 is the same as what he deposited on 1 December 2017. So let us just say that amount that is depositing, let it be X so that we do not have confusion of our calculator. You can just leave it as P, but let's just call it X. There are two different occasions, but equally provided. They are equally deposited. So let the deposit, or let Z's deposit be X. Meaning to say we are talking of what? The principal amount. Let the principal, remember the money that you invest or the money that you put in a bank as your starting plan is the principal. So let it be X because it's the same. We're not going to have different letters to say the first occasion, let it be X. The second occasion, let it be Y. No. Because they told us that they are equal amounts. So if the first one is X, the other one is X. If he deposited 200, it means the next one he deposited also 200, which is fine. But this money was deposited on different occasions, even though the money is the same. The value is the same, but it was deposited on different occasions. Thus, it affects that part alone. Okay, let me ask you something. You are into an investment. You put money into the bank. Let's say this one, which was deposited in 1 December, it was put into the bank. It is gaining value. It is gaining value, gaining value, gaining value. For how long? That is the question. For how long? Then we have to consider the years. 1 December 2016 to 1 December 20. This is the deadline, this one. The 2080, this one. The 1 December, this one is not a deposit. The money it must have accumulated by this time, by 2018, 1 December. How many years are we going to talk about there? How many years are we going to talk about there? So we are going to say that 2017 is the part where the money, because this one is deposited. This is 1 December 2016, guys. The year has ended 2016. We are talking of what now? 2017. The whole of 2017, the money is increasing the value. The whole of 2017, the whole of 2018, the money is increasing the value. So you're talking of a period of 2 years up to the end of that 2018, 1 December. So you're talking of 2 years that happened where the money increased the value within there. So this first part, it took 2 years, the first investment. The first investment, this one, it took 2 years. What about the last one of 1 December 2017? From 1 December 2017 to the end of this, which is 1 December 2018. So the year just increased in the year of 8, because it's already, this is the year, 2017 has already ended. So within the year of 2018, that's where the money increased. So this one, it just took 1 year. It just took 1 year to increase. So what does it mean? It means the accumulated amount, since we are dealing with a compound interest formula, it is going to be P into 1 plus I to the exponent of the first one. It was an investment which occurred in 2 years. So the number of years is supposed to be 2 for the first one. All right. You're supposed to use N there, but I'm just specifying to say the N is supposed to be 2 there. The second one, because there are 2, investments which are giving us the same amount. So this one, it is increasing its value. The person goes back to the bank, plus he is adding. He did not withdrew the money. No, this one, he added the money. He is investing another amount, same amount of money, P into 1 plus I to the exponent of what? How many years now representing our end? This time it is 1 year. The last investment will only increase, or it will only accumulate within a year, from 1 December 2017 to 1 December 2018. It's 1 year that we are talking about within that period. Within that period. So be very, very careful the issue of time. If it was a condition where you are talking about the starting of 2017 to the end of 2018, there will be 2 years when it was like that. But this one, there is 1 year from 1 December to this 1 December. But remembering that the principal is the same. So you can calculate X, because this P is representing what? The money that was invested, which is our X. So now you can calculate, because we've got everything. We just need to substitute. Remember the amount there. We are given the amount. It is what? 5,980. So we are going to substitute that. 5,980 rand is equal to P. Let the principal, the deposit, the money invested be X. What he invested, let it be X. Into what? 1 plus the interest rate. As a decimal, 9%, divide by 100, it was going to be 0.09. So that's 0.09 raised to the exponent of 2 plus the principal. Again, he deposited equal amounts, same amount. So it is X again. 1 plus I there, 0.09 to the exponent of what? N, which is 1. You have formed an equation from this statement. You have formed an equation, and you can solve for X. By solving for X, what are you solving? You are finding the deposit. You could have simplified this, but avoid working with the decimals, because when dealing with finance, you do not round off your answers before the final. You only round at the final stage. So to avoid to say you're going to write this value, you're now having a lot of values in your book. We can see that X is common. Remember, you need to solve for that X. And we can see that X is there. It is common here. It's X here. There's also X here. So what can I do? I can simply factor it out. I can simply factor out this X. By factoring out X, or by removing this X, I'm going to remain with this bracket plus this bracket. So I'm going to have the bracket of 1 plus 0.09 raised to the power of 2 plus the bracket of 1 plus 0.09 like this, which is equal to 5,980. I need to solve for X. This is a product, so simply divide by this bracket as it is this side. 1 plus 0.09 squared plus bracket of 1 plus 0.09 like this. Do the same, divide it this side. 1 plus 0.09 squared plus 1 plus 0.09 like this. So by doing this, you are canceling this, you are remaining with what? With X, which is representing the principal, which is representing what? The money that was invested, the money that Zeki has to deposit into the account. So that's it. This one divided to that on your calculator, guys, you're going to obtain, that was going to be 2,624.99 to 2 decimal place if you use your calculator properly. On each occasion, this is what he is supposed to deposit on each occasion. And on each occasion, as we are told that he deposited the same amount, equal amounts, equal. So the first one, he deposited this, then he also came back and deposited the same amount, only that the periods were ye deposited these were different. The first one, it was on 1 December 2016, another one, 1 December 2017, which is supposed to increase until 1 December 2018. That was our question there. So let's do revise, guys, as much questions as we can. We just need to understand the basics of your finance. If you understand this, it won't even take time like in exam. Yeah, we're taking time. This explanation is because you need to understand properly. This type of a question is just 5 minutes, you're done answering this. If you know what is happening here, just 5 minutes, you're done. So let's do revise, guys, as much as we can.